So it's winter here on the Coromandel, and we're finishing up our beekeeping season to make sure all our beehives are got enough food for the winter and they're going to survive. But one of the main things we do this time of year is vape them with oxalic acid. It's good to do this now because generally through winter they're broodless, and this gives us the best chance of knocking down all the mites and make sure that they're going to be nice and healthy come springtime. So the varroa mite is basically our biggest issue that we have beekeeping worldwide, I'd say. And it's a little tiny mite that feeds on the fat bodies of the bees, and it also carries a bunch of diseases that eventually, left untreated, will kill a hive. And one of the main problems with varroa mites is just how quickly they reproduce. So like one varroa mite they reproduce underneath the brood cappings, and they get under the brood, lay eggs, and then the offspring from that mite will go on to lay more and more eggs. So basically in the space of like 3 weeks their population can double, and left unchecked that basically just means that hive's going to collapse. So we have to constantly treat to keep those mite levels at a manageable level. And the other thing that we do besides like actual varroa treatments is requeen our operation with varroa sensitive genetics. So it's bees that can maintain like a higher mite load, like a higher level of mites in the hive, so they're more resistant to the diseases they carry, and also in some cases bees that will groom the mites off one another. But yeah, so we're vaping these hives with oxalic acid, which is an organic treatment, and that's how we are managing these mites at the moment. If we knock down these mites now in these hives, because it's winter, they're not producing any brood, so there's nowhere for the mites to reproduce. If we kill all the mites in the hive now, we theoretically will have 0 mites starting spring next year. Normally I would forage up some bark or something like that to light my smoker, but it's been so wet, not many options. I'll get it going with some paper and then see what I can scrounge up. with serenity. A little bit of a smoke because I'm going to piss them off with the weed eater. Oh, what kind of... Oh, they're all... That's heavy. That's probably won't need a feed. Maybe that's a bit light. This hive looks a little bit light, actually. Oh, it's got a bit of weight to it. It's across, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames across. Yeah, the cluster above and below the excluder, and it's got a bit of food up here. Probably could use a little bit more food. Seeing as I've got it open, I'll take a little look in there. It's a reasonable sized little hive. Can't be too mad at that. Let's see if it's producing brood. Doesn't look like it. So these hives are wintering down now. Would have been better to have more food on them earlier. Oh, queen cell there, maybe it's queenless. I wouldn't have thought so though, because a reasonably established winter population. Maybe it's an old one. Not seeing any pollen coming in really. No pollen stored. There's the queen. She's not queenless. There she is, right there. So yeah, I mean they've started chewing her wings off her a little bit, so she might be an older one. Or maybe not as good as they would like. Oh, she's laying eggs. But yeah, there's fuck all brood. I mean fuck all brood, and looks like fuck all pollen. Which is normal for this time of year. Not until the gorse really starts to pop that we see any winter pollen sources. But yeah, maybe I'll give this a little feed. The fact that there's so little brood is a good sign for our varroa treatments to work, so that's good. But sometimes it's good to open one hive and just get a bit of an indication of like food. I was kind of expecting these to, I mean it's got quite a bit of weight to it. It's probably relative to the size of the colony. We'll give it a feed. That one probably doesn't need a feed. That one's heavy as fuck. Give it a bit of a feed. That needs a bit of a feed. Reasonable sized colony, but it looks like it just felt a little bit light. All these, oh, that's probably okay. Felt a bit light. One thing you can do is to see what kind of colony they've got going on is tip them back like this. This one's got no reducer in it actually. Just have a look underneath. So it's clustering across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 frames, and it's going up to that box. So it's a reasonable sized colony. Does seem to have gotten through its food a bit. A brand new one, fancy one. Ready to cook them now. Because it's small, but you can see that that bee there with the deformed wings, that has a deformed wing virus, which is a symptom of well, deformed wing virus, but it is present because a mite load is too high. So this hive has varroa mites. So yeah, this is kind of patchy brood. So sometimes you think the hive's all good, and then it's not until you notice later when the bee numbers drop off, or if you actually did a mite wash, you would see that you have a high mite load, and a hive can look healthy, and then all of a sudden, yeah, the next visit it's not. Which is why mite washing is the only real way to measure your mite load, but we don't always have time to do it because we don't have that many humans per the amount of beehives that we have. This does have a treatment on it, which I hope is working, and what we can do is hopefully, if we vape it, it'll knock down all those phoretic mites, the mites that are on the bees, and then the apivar treatment that is in the hive should take care of the remaining mites that hatch out from under the brood cappings. So fingers crossed. It is small, which isn't great. What we could do is put it on top of a bigger colony that would, if you do that, they can the heat from the other colony can work well to just mean that this hive doesn't have to work so hard to produce any warmth, but that definitely needs a vape. And yeah, this box is actually fucked. So what I might do is I might replace that box and then inspect this colony while I do it. Our wasps will often go to the weakest hive in the apiary and then work their way back, back up to the strongest until they're cunning cunts. Anyway, hopefully these guys will enjoy. Sorry guys. A lot of white honey flow here because they've really built a lot of comb. No brood yet. They often want to move away from the apivar strip, so you can reposition them into the brood nest because for some reason they don't love it all the time. But yeah, this is looking like it's stopped rearing brood. So a vape is going to be, is the queen, the Italian one, the golden girl. Yeah, so a vape's going to be real effective now. Because there's nowhere for the mites to hide. So if there's any mites present in a colony like this, then they don't stand a chance against the vape. So that's ideal. So yeah, this is actually looking like a pretty happy colony, and what you would expect for winter. Like, it's got a decent bit of stores, it's a good sized cluster, like it can manage its kind of manage its temperature, and there's no sign of disease. And the fact that there's no brood is another really good sign. It just means that this treatment's going to work well. Oh, don't sting me. Right, did I speak too soon? Nope, still no brood. So yeah, looking good compared to that last one. It's not nice to see varroa going into winter because it is tough for them to survive. You know, like that, to survive a winter they really have to establish themselves really well going into winter or going into autumn. So often if they're not established well, they might not survive. It's not to say it won't, but the likelihood is higher that it's not going to make it. Whereas this one, relative to its colony size, it probably has the right amount of food to last, 2-3 months before we're going to come back and see them again, before they would be starting to rear brood again. So happy with one like that. It's not the biggest, but it's going to be sweet. It'll as long as this queen stays healthy and we keep on top of varroa, it's going to produce honey next season. So happy with that. Not so happy with that. So that's what we're contending with when it comes to varroa. Is just, it's always there, and so all we can do is these constant treatments to keep it low. The way that varroa works is because we can never really get rid of it and it's always present, we just have to keep the levels down so they can't breed up and get a mite load high enough to carry the diseases that will hurt the hive. So in a lot of cases that just means for us a constant oxalic acid treatment. And if we get the mite levels down to as close to zero as possible now using vaping, and probably will vape again at the start of spring, first round back in spring, that will mean that we have the best chance of keeping mite levels low through the year. Because if we get those mite levels down as low as we can, then we get those mite levels down as low as we can, and then we keep them low with constant treatment, then we're in a good spot. So it's pretty much rinse and repeat of that process now over 65 sites and 1,000 colonies. So we just drive around and we do this to every single site and every single hive. Beekeeping can be super repetitive when it's you're not actually digging down into any of the hives. You're just a bit of a robot. But that's what it takes to get these hives healthy, and hopefully come springtime there'll be a nice video showing how good these colonies are.
Well, I can't pay my bills no more. I don't wanna disappoint my pa. I smell like a rancid Derby bar, and I got no gas for my gypsy heart. But you're the only thing keeping me going. You're the only thing keeping me going. Well, this world, it's gone down the drain. I'm on a psychiatric couch again. The pain pills do not ease the pain. And Jesus Christ, I forgot his name. But you're the only thing keeping me going. Yeah, you're the only thing keeping me going. The laws of beauty you do defy. You're my only alibi. The hook and needle to my eye. If I lost you, babe, I would lose my life. 'Cause you're the only thing keeping me going. You're the only thing keeping me